Hi, I'm Chantal Sanchez with Pacific Sotheby's International Realty. And today on Money Talks, we're going to be talking about purchasing investment properties in the Coachella Valley. I'm here today with Kristen Martinez.
Hello.
President of Vanmar Lending. She has over 20 years experience in the lending industry, and she is the president of a family-run and owned business, which we always support. So
yes.
Thank you, Kristen.
Exciting.
And I wanted to announce that they just hit their numbers.
Yeah,
again, for the
2 months in a row we hit our goals, which is very, very exciting.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Kristen. So what we are talking today, again, because of investment properties, that's one of the huge factors here in the Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Mm-hmm. We get a lot of people asking and interested in investing in new properties. So we're really going to try to seam through some of the questions that most new investors ask and want to know.
Yeah. See if we can make it a little bit easier on you as
Absolutely.
a buyer. For sure.
So, Kristen, let's start with what is the difference between an investment property and a second home? Because sometimes we get people.
Yeah, some people get a little bit confused about the differences. So a second home, you have to be 50 miles away from your primary residence to be allowed to finance a second home. And the minimum down payment is a lot less. So you only have to have 10% down for a second home purchase.
Okay.
If you're going to purchase an investment home, it's 80%. So you get 80% loan to value. So you have to put 20% down on your purchase.
That's
and
good.
Those are basically the differences. The interest rates are a little higher on an investment purchase, and then a second home is exactly the same as a primary residence.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
See, that's really great to know. So basically, when people wanted to do that, what is the difference between purchasing a primary residence and investment property? Sorry about that. Second home versus an investment property. What are the main differences in not just what they are, but how to qualify for them?
It's, a lot of people think it's hard to buy an investment property. If you have the funds to purchase, it's a lot easier because you get the rental income when you're purchasing. So your primary residence, you have to qualify with that. And then if you buy an investment property, they'll allow you the rental income to qualify.
So you add that on.
You add that back in. So it's almost like the payment's a wash.
Wow.
So it's really nice. And the difference is, as long as you have the funds down and can handle a little bit higher of an interest rate, it's a perfect loan for everybody.
But with the second home, you don't have that.
You don't have that. You have to actually qualify with both payments and then put 10% down because it's basically they're both your own residences. So you have to qualify with both payments. So sometimes people come in like, I want a second home. Well, actually you qualify with making it an investment. Do you have the money down? And so we can convert them and kind of help out and make sure that it works for you.
So it actually sometimes makes more sense to have it as an investment property than a second home, because sometimes people will try to qualify for a second home, but then they are on the side, they're like, oh, I want to go and have a VRBO or Airbnb business, but they should go through it with as an investment property.
Yes.
So basically, if you're trying to start into the investment sphere, or even just a second home, if you're thinking to buy a second home and even considering using Airbnb or VRBO, talk to your lender about doing an investment property first. Okay.
That's definitely something you should recommend. Talk to them so they can help you plan it.
And what about 1031 exchange, that magic little number? We hear about it a lot with primary residences, but what about secondary home or investment property?
Well, technically, I believe that 1031 is only for investment properties because you have to buy a like property.
Okay.
So you can sell an investment property and then you have to identify a property. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think it's like within 6 months or maybe 4 months, you have to identify another property. So escrow officers will really help you with that. There's someone that will facilitate it. They're called facilitators for you. So it's pretty easy. They take it, you identify a property, as long as it's a like property, investment to investment, you take it and there's no tax, which is very exciting. That's why everybody does them.
Wow, I know. No
yeah,
taxes.
right? No tax, especially in California. We can use it.
Now, let me just kind of get into it. What are some of the five tips or 4 or 5 tips you can give to new investors, those who are considering to even start investing? Because especially as we know, like I said, Palm Springs is one of the top 10 in the nation for investment homes.
Yes, investment and second homes. We just learned, I believe we're 6, but if Google tells us, right?
And Google's right.
Yes, right, exactly. I use Google for everything.
What would you say some tips, number 5 tips that you would give to new investors?
I would say probably the number one is if you're interested in purchasing real estate, I would say go out and talk to a loan officer and really give them your financial plan. Like, I really want to own this many properties, and we can tell you this is how you get your primary, this is how you get your investment, how to hold your funds. The second main point is if you're going to buy an investment property, they have to be your own funds. You can't have them gifted from a family member.
That's really good to know.
Yes, they need to be your own funds. Your credit it has to be really high, which would be my third point. You have to have a 680 and above. Even if you don't, please know that that's what we're here for. Call a loan officer. They'll give you kind of a plan over 6 months how to get over a 680 credit score. So there's always opportunities to be successful in real estate.
So you could start preparing now.
Absolutely.
And also too, I mean, I've even noticed, don't make any large purchases.
That's a good one, yes.
Because a lot of times someone will want to buy something and we're in escrow, and then all of a sudden we found out that a month ago they just bought a new BMW.
Yes.
And
although we want that great BMW, it's hard to qualify with a big, large payment.
So wait off and hold off any large purchases until after you've closed.
Yes.
And after you've bought your investment property.
Absolutely.
What would you say is number one top hurdle that you've experienced working with new investors? So for also to help them prepare.
I would just say our number one hurdle is a lack of education. Sometimes they don't communicate with us about, trying to get pre-qualified.
Sure.
So we always say, it doesn't matter who your loan professional is, please speak with them, get a plan, because we want to make sure the worst thing for us is for somebody to come in and say, I am under contract. And you're like, okay, well, how are we going to make it work? So that's the number one hurdle we have, is making sure you have an open line of communication. You do get pre-approved for purchasing before you actually go out. And especially for real estate agents, you want to make sure that they qualify before you do a lot of work.
Absolutely.
So it's a team. Work with a great team, work with a great real estate agent such as yourself.
Well, and also I would say that number one thing you should do is talk to a lender first before you talk to a real estate agent, because a lot of times people come out and they'll say, I want to invest and I want to buy, and they talk to a real estate agent first.
Right.
I think it's the opposite. I think you should talk to a lender, know what you qualify for, know what you can work with before you find the property that you want to buy, the property of your dreams, and then you realize I actually don't qualify for it. So that's very disappointing. It's better to know, and especially from an investment standpoint or second home standpoint, talk to a lender, know what you're talking about, know what you're working with, know what numbers you can work with.
Yes.
And then we can start
And know
talking.
the payment fits, because a lot of times people want to buy that $500,000 house, but they really feel more comfortable in the $400,000 range.
Yes.
Which is really important for everybody. So that's what we mean by get a great team, get a great agent.
So you got to call Kristen first before you call me.
And that works perfect. Love it.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, we're going to try to get some other episodes out here and get more of your questions asked. Feel free to email me or send me a text, questions, and if you have any more questions, and we'll see what other topics we can come up with. But this has been today's episode of Money Talks. I'm Chantal Sanchez, and I'm with Kristen Martinez. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.